So, welcome to Northern Powerhouses, our business success stories series of interviews, where we discuss with local business leaders their backgrounds, their successes, and their challenges, and what's really driving them forward. And this morning, I'm delighted to have with us Sharon Watson, who's CEO and principal at the Northern School of Contemporary Dance. So, firstly, Sharon, thank you so much for spending a bit of time with us. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, the school, what you do, how you help people, that would be wonderful.
All in a minute. Chris,
Well,
thank you
as
very
long
much.
as you like, please.
Thank you for the invitation, and for your audience that will be listening to this. I'm Sharon Watson, as you already pointed out. I am the chief exec and the principal of the Northern School of Contemporary Dance in Leeds, and we're located in Chapeltown. For those of you that know the location, it's just outside of the city centre, which is quite an unusual place to have a higher education
Yes,
located. We are the only conservatoire that delivers what we do outside of London. So we hold that very special to our hearts and also making sure that people understand why that's important. And we deliver undergraduate degrees and master's degrees. And so we're very busy as an organization. We have an extensive range within our learning and participation. So that happens locally, it happens regionally, and
yeah,
we extend that on a national tour with our birth company that enables us to go into other areas of the country to be able to deliver the work that we do. And I am a very proud principal because I'm coming up to 5 years in my role, and I arrived under COVID, which was a
yes,
very challenging time for anyone taking on a new post. But
yes.
I did take it as an opportunity to just step back and take my foot off the gas a little bit to try and understand the dynamics not of the organization. I knew it well, but under COVID, nobody knows anything really.
Yeah.
So I spent time learning, but also just looking 5 years later and how we are celebrating what the decisions we made and our success and our future facing opportunities.
Brilliant. Wonderful. And I believe you just had a recent award.
We absolutely did. It was a magical moment not that long ago. In fact, less than 10 days ago, we were at the Yorkshire Society Awards, where the Northern School of Contemporary Dance was awarded a prestigious award for arts and entertainment. And yeah, it was a delight to receive that award because you don't go looking for it. That's the first thing I'd say is that we were unaware.
Yes.
But the fact that somebody else is aware just
Yep.
makes us realize that actually we've got to keep going and we have the moment to celebrate. So we embraced it with both hands, and I hope that we continue to achieve in a way that enables us in the north of England to shout loud and proud about what we do.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, look, Sharon, if you might look back to start with, and if you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be principal at the organisation. What's the story?
What's the story? It's a very interesting one, and I'll try and be concise because I think it's quite an unusual story. I'm sat here talking to you, and I'm sat in the office, and as the principal here, the founding principal was my PE teacher,
Wow.
which if there isn't enough time in the day to talk you through all of that, but she was the founding principal of the school, and I started dancing at 9. Many people will have heard this story that it was my first dance lesson after having my sister come home, and that whole thing of this is what I did at school. I had to wait 2 years to go and experience it because she's 2 years older than I am. But I got to that first dance lesson, and I was like, wow, this is me. And I
Wow.
went and told my parents, when I'm 16, I'm going to London to study dance. And of course, as any sensible parent would do, they were like, wonderful, did you enjoy it? And all the rest of the questions, we'll talk about it when you're older. Well, 16 came, my bags were packed, I had my grant from my school, I was accepted into the school in London, and I was off. I've
Brilliant.
not back since. So yeah, London wasn't great in the sense that it was a challenging time, and I could not have done it without the systems then, which was enabled me to have a grant
Yeah.
to be able to do this, to dance. And when I graduated, I never stopped working. So I'm really, really pleased and very fortunate that that's how my career has ran. But the ambition to be in a position like this was something that I've dreamt about, never thought it'd be a reality. But so I'm delighted that I am in this position.
Wonderful. Well, what a great story. What a great story. And what would you have been if you hadn't gone to the dance school, do you think?
Do you know, I have no idea, but it's
Yeah.
very interesting that whilst you're in high school at the time, I was, your career advisors say to you, oh, you've got the skills for dentistry. Why don't you consider dentistry? And I'm like, oh, I can't think, no, it's not me. Um, and I don't know, because I was so set on
Yeah.
this career, I don't think I looked at anything else.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, that my daughter now is a dental nurse, a qualified dental nurse, which is interesting. I said to her, did you know that was I was like, yeah, Mum, you wouldn't have done that. I was like, no, I think I needed something a bit more creative. So I don't really know, to be honest. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'd have found something that would have landed me in a space that I could make and change things.
Yes. Brilliant. So, again, looking back, look. So you became principal during COVID or at the start of in the COVID times, which in itself is a big challenge. You said, and I heard you say you took a bit of time and I really love that. And it's something we work with a lot of people a lot is and I love the phrase slow down to speed up. In other words, take a step back
Yeah.
before we look and see what we can do, rather than there's very driven people typically just want to get stuck in, but taking a step back. So I mean, alongside COVID, what are some of the biggest issues you've had to overcome over the last 5 years?
I think what's happening, so my understanding and my learning in higher education is that you're constantly defending your position as an organization, regardless of the
Right.
success. I think, yeah, and I believe that the arts, because we sit within cultural education,
Yeah.
it just feels as though it can be so overlooked and so dismissed because
Yes.
it's nice to have. And I often hear a lot of people use the terminology, the soft skills of these art forms. And actually, I would like for them to consider how critical it would be for our country if we didn't have these, what they consider soft skills. So all
Yes.
the cognitive, the emotional, the well-being, the kind of all of the things that make us who we are, they're not soft skills, they're essential skills. And that's really been my biggest learning, to try and talk to those that don't see it in that way,
Yeah.
and usually tend to put them on the sideline because, oh, my daughter dances and therefore, but they won't become a dancer. They're just doing it as a nice hobby. Well,
Yes.
even as a hobby, you become an audience member. You become someone who's
Yeah.
appreciative of the art form. And what it can do above and beyond your career is all the other things that when COVID was happening and people were looking for things to do, they relied on the arts. They relied on the understanding of that art form to be able to connect people and to make people feel
Yeah.
better about themselves. So even in its basic form, it's one of the things that I think we need to give it the respect that it's due. So a lot of that fighting, I think, is happening, and just the reduction which everybody's facing at the moment in terms of the financial challenges,
Yes.
student fees, student services, all the things that really do impact a student's life. Uh, I have a great team here. I have a fabulous team who absolutely get it.
Brilliant.
And because of that, it's worth fighting for, and we
Yes.
continue to do that.
Brilliant. Because I guess the arts, I mean, the arts, when in economical challenging times, the arts tend to be the one of the areas where the funding, or
Yeah,
not the funding, but the financial it tends to be to suffer probably more, I would imagine.
it really does. Yeah. But I do feel as though the importance of it, we
Yeah,
have to be able to shout about it. That trumpet that you talked about earlier about it not being blown, I think it needs to be blown loud and proud,
absolutely.
because yeah, we have amazing students here and they go out and they change the world. And I
Yeah.
say that genuinely. I don't say that as a strap line. I think it's the thing that we develop creatives, we develop thinkers, we develop intuitive
Yeah.
human beings that will enable us to kind of keep things on a level that it's not about keeping the equilibrium. They really do go in and they challenge, and they also bring so much more to the world as
Yeah.
human beings, let alone as just as an art form. So for us, it's worth it. But
Yeah.
I do need for the bigger picture to be understood around the
Yeah.
fact being in the north of England, we are out on a limb. We are the only one outside of London. Students come to us because of the care and the attention. They come to us because of the location. They
Brilliant.
come to us because we spend hours working through the 3 years or 4 years or even 5 years for some, showing that we care and that they're actually worth it and how
Brilliant.
it works when they move forward. So we're very proud of our alumni as well.
Yeah, and I was saying before we started that going on your website and you can see just in some of the videos the joy of the people that are participating. It's a real it brought a big smile to my face just looking at those looking at some of those videos. So it's absolutely wonderful. Um, and whether it's over the last 5 years or before that, what are some of the biggest learnings you've had about growing an organisation like the dance school?
I think what is really relevant to me right now is understanding the dynamics of leadership. And I say that only
Yeah.
because you could have a very knee-jerk response to what's happening and feel that to be leading is just to be charging forward from the front. And I think COVID told me a lot about the challenges that we were facing and the dynamics of different personalities and people's
Yes.
needs. And I do question. I obviously I am a leader of the organization, but some of the leadership styles that I hold, I feel that perhaps maybe there is something to be learned across the board around, leading from the back, leading silent leadership. It just feels as though at a time when people are feeling very fragile, the last thing you want to be is on a horse and charging forward into the unknown. So, you can't lead unless people are following, and therefore
Yeah.
how do you keep people with you? How do you understand what it is that they need? And how do you get them to buy into the fact that actually we've got to hit some rocky times, but what your knowledge and your understanding of us is going to be so important. And it
Yes.
doesn't need me to take you. I just need to be here with you. I don't need to drive you.
Yeah.
So what is that about and how do we manage to maintain that? So I think dynamic leadership is something that I think is probably has been underserved in a way.
Yeah.
And it's not again about that shouting from the top of the mountain and hoping that people are listening,
Yeah.
but understanding who your team are.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I completely agree that there is, we our teams need to know we're leading them effectively, and it isn't just about how hard we work, how far we as you say, and I often say to people that if our organisation is a ship, our team want to know that if in a really difficult time we would help them pull the
Mm.
sails up or various things, and we should be willing to do that. But while we're doing that, we're not actually steering the ship. So they're not looking and saying, well, we want you to get stuck in alongside us. They are also saying at the time, yes, but also our job is at the back, seeing what's going to happen, looking out forwards, and making sure we're steering in the right direction. And that's a key part of leadership, I feel.
It's incredibly powerful because I think very often, I mean, whilst we were having COVID, I was on, the theatre that was, I would wipe the floors, mop the floors because, actually the staff needed a break. So it's fine. The CEO can do that. We can do that. I can make tea and coffee for people
Yeah.
and not feel that I've disempowered myself. So
Yes.
understanding, actually, I'm not the best person for this
No,
particular moment. That's you, and I'll be right here beside you. But actually, you can go and do this. And
absolutely.
I empowering other people to do the job that they do
Yeah.
well. Yeah, and that continues for me.
Wonderful.
It really is it's evident in the building when you come in. So we welcome everyone in. The
Brilliant.
culture is changing. I love that. And we respect the community that we are situated in because
Yeah.
the community have helped to elevate what we do, and we have to give that respect back to the place that we live.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely wonderful. And you're probably aware we're a business coaching organization. I'm keen to know who the best coaches you've worked with, whether that's business, sport, life in general. Who's had the biggest impact on you?
Ooh. Is that sorry, that's not you're not asking a name. I mean, I actually do work with a couple of coaches.
By all means, name them. Yeah, no, they're absolutely fine. If it's helpful, by all means, name them.
Yeah, there's two people that I've actually had over this last period, and I think because also quite specifically in this role, there's not many friends at the top. You kind of have to figure this out.
It's all
Um,
over the place.
and yeah, I mean, I started out, I've got, and they're for different reasons, coaches I have for different reasons. I started out with a coach, Heather Paul, is local to where I am, which is also really important to understand that as well.
Great.
Um, and that matters when you think about the clientele that we have, the kind of demographic that we work with, and what's the work that I do. For
Yep.
those, for your audience, they might not know that I'm a Black female sat here. And I think that's important to acknowledge and recognize that it comes with different challenges.
Yes.
So I don't shy away from that, and actually understand how I, as a person, feed into the bigger picture. So
Yes.
that's really important. And I think Heather's helped me to understand that again, I kind of use the word dynamic leadership because it has so many different areas where I've spent so many hours in this building and understanding what my role really is when I'm not just filling out those papers or I'm not signing a document or talking
Yep.
to the board, actually the other areas of development. And I'm currently working with a coach, Emma Wraith. I think that's how I pronounce her surname. And again, she's just really been someone that's helped me to stop back. The reflective time is so needed,
Yep.
but it's not always given. It's not built into your day. And for me, that was something that I'm very pleased to say that my governors, "Well, what would you like?" I said, I need some executive coaching. I want to be able to take some time that
Yeah.
isn't going to be, I'm not forced to do it, but I need it when I need it
Yep.
and allow me to make those decisions. So, yeah, I kind of have those two on the go at different times, different reasons.
Yep.
And I found them so invaluable in this journey. Yeah.
Wonderful. And whether it's for them or any other area, do you have any favorite quotes or sayings you catch yourself using quite a lot?
I tend to use the quotes for the students quite often around, building their confidence to step forward. And, the one I will refer to, and I guess I was asked this about my younger self, about the doors that were slightly ajar and understanding that you've got a whole team that can help you push that open.
Yep.
So we can do that for you and we can do that with you. So to kind of work on that. But I don't know, there's a lot of quotes that come through. I mean, I'll probably remember them once this is finished, to be fair, but there is strength in understanding how just, yeah, reading a lot of the quotes. I mean, James Baldwin comes to mind a lot, and there's a few others that have some very powerful quotes. And we know Maya Angelou has come up with some really self-reflecting quotes that help you and to understand how much you're worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe that it's quite helpful to just sometimes have those reflective moments and morning quotes to set you on your way and to share that with staff as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah, I think they're really helpful because they often put quite broad and complex principles into a few words, and I think that helps people because then they're memorable. And in terms of sort of education, have you got any favorite books or podcasts you follow on business or success or personal development that are your favorites?
You're going to ask me this to go now, so I'm going to have to look into I mean, there's a whole range of various podcasts that I jump into. I mean, I listen a lot to, I have to say, to his name, Darren Henley, who talks about the arts a lot. He's got a very balanced view on the arts.
Brilliant.
If you've not read his books, then that's one of them to read. His latest is The Arts Dividend, and I'm just about to tuck into that in the
Right.
next few weeks. But we have a whole library here, and of course, I'm always trying to educate and keep up to what the students are studying
Yep.
because I have an open door policy, and sometimes they'll wander in, ask a question. I'm like, okay, you need to go and find out about that.
Brilliant.
But yeah, there are a lot of books. I think one of the biggest things that's changing in terms of our culture here at the Northern School right now is the work that we're doing with the EEDI. And for those that are wondering, is it EEDI? Is it DEI? Is it ID? It's yeah, we have equality, equity, and diversity and inclusion, which
Right.
for us is a really big thing that's changing the dynamics of the organization, the
Yep.
inclusivity of who we are. And so understanding that, which will is such a big area of development for us. And I think for society right now, in understanding that inclusivity role that we play
Yes.
and live into those cultures. So we're doing a lot of work on that as a school, as an organization, and
Brilliant.
understanding that we've got such a dynamic demographic that we
Yep.
really do need to spend time understanding how we hold that together.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And and what would you say you've learned about yourself on your journey so far?
I've learned that I don't need to panic. I just kind of, it's one of those where I have a great vice principal, Darren Carr, and very often when we're in a situation where we're going, oh my gosh, this is a bit of a challenge, he'll say, well, we're not doing brain surgery. And I'm going, okay, therefore, take the heat out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely take the heat out of it, and let's have a listen to what it is. And, saying sorry is okay. It
Absolutely.
really is, providing you mean it, saying sorry is all right.
Yeah.
Having everyone has a vulnerable side to them, whether you want to admit it or not. And in this particular environment, sometimes that comes to the fore quite often
Yeah.
because there's so much going on. But actually, when you can really take the heat out of something, and I think I reflect a lot on myself in that sense,
Yeah.
that it's okay. We don't need to charge in with any decisions. We can just sit back. Are you okay first and foremost? Because that, at the end of the day, people-centered approach is really quite important.
Yes.
And I reflect that for myself as well. A people-centered approach for me, I can be here, but
Yep.
just remember that I'm human and I will absolutely do my best. But at the end of the day, there are limitations.
Absolutely. As you say, we're all human. We all make mistakes, and that's okay. Especially as long as we learn from them. I think that's the key thing. Yeah, brilliant. And so looking forward a little bit now. What does the future look like for you guys, and what challenges do you think you might face, if any?
So the future for us, although we've got all of the crises that's kind of running around us and in between, and everyone's dealing with the cost of living or
Yeah.
the national insurance, all of those things that are affecting everyone, it is
Yes.
affecting us too. But we still have an interest, and I think our numbers are coming through the door,
Great.
so it's healthy. We have been looking for a little while for an extended home. I must be careful how I say this because it's not that we're leaving here. It's just that we have the possibility of an extension to our estate. So we're looking to grow
Oh,
uh,
wonderful.
and looking for support with that as well. But we definitely can provide more for
Brilliant.
more. So we're working on that at the moment. And I would say that, come September, we will be celebrating our 40 years as an organization in
Brilliant.
our community, delivering quality degrees for the industry and beyond. So we'll start celebrating that. And over the next year to 18 months, there'll be a lot of things that we will be branded as a celebration for Northern
Yes.
School at 40,
Brilliant.
connected with our alumni. So there's a lot to be grateful for and a lot to celebrate.
Yeah. Brilliant. I'm keen to know what you'd say to anyone that's thinking of going to business right now. What would be your key advice?
Wow. Do you know, I don't know if there's ever really, and genuinely, a best time to start a business. When you genuinely think about it, every time is a rough time because it's
Yes,
new.
absolutely.
And the ground that you enter the territory that you enter that first step will always be quite unique to you.
Yes,
So, you can get advice on it, but it'll be unique to you. So the fear, you're going to feel it anyway. And so you're going to step into it anyway. So just kind of, but surround yourself with the people that you know will give you honest advice, that will be ready to support you and to tell you, actually, that's not the best way to do something, but
yeah,
it's your way. And, just don't be afraid to ask the questions because sometimes your vulnerability can stop you from feeling as though you've actually got a great product or a great moment in time. You just need to be the confidence to say, I don't know this. I don't have the answer for this.
yeah,
So yeah, I would definitely say that that is it because there is no best time, as I say to many of the students, there is no best time to do this. It's not like, the economy is suddenly going to flourish you with huge amounts of money and it's going to change next. It's going to be a challenge, whatever.
yeah.
Startups will always be a bit of a tricky one, but yeah, trust in what you've got as a product
Brilliant.
and
Great
step
advice.
forward.
Very sound advice. And finally, what would be the best advice you could give an 18-year-old you if you could go back in time and do that?
And I've said this many and many a time, you do what you do. My advice would have been perhaps maybe I was quite vocal anyway, so I wouldn't have changed that. So as an 18-year-old being quite vocal, it's like, yeah, okay.
Brilliant.
Accept that that's who you are.
Yeah.
Accept that you're finding your way. I wouldn't change anything because I don't think it would have allowed me to do anything
No.
different. But I would probably give myself a little bit more credit for what I had in terms of my knowledge and my bravado-ness that enabled me to step forward.
Yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. Uh, Sharon, it's been fascinating talking, and congratulations on everything you've achieved, obviously including the award, but that you're structuring, you're ready for growing again, and all the things that you guys are doing. And for anyone that'd like to get in touch with you or your organisation, what would be the best way to do that?
Jump on our website and have a look where there's all our contact details there. We are on social media as well, which sometimes is a very easy way to connect.
Yes.
I've got my social media accounts. But please do get in touch with us because I think you'll be surprised at what we can offer and what perhaps maybe not be the norm in terms of what we offer. We have a theatre here as well, which I haven't mentioned, and we run shows here.
Well, yes, and I think there's a what's on page, isn't there, about where you can see what's going on.
Absolutely.
It's and it's very comprehensive, complete website with so many things going on, and I'd urge anyone to go have a look and, as I say, see the joy of dance and performance that you're clearly developing developing right now. So again, thank you so much. It'd be great to swing by another 6, 12 months and just see whether or not you found that extended home and what the next stages of the development of your organisation.
That would be wonderful, and it'd be lovely for you to come and celebrate our birthday year with us,
I'd
because
love to.
that would be a moment in time. And I think for everyone involved, community, local, national, international, and this opportunity to also shout to an audience who would have that curiosity. They've landed here, so therefore there's probably something why they want to be connected. So come and see us, come and find out what we do. Jump on the website. We're very, very open and welcome to opportunity and ideas. But it'd be lovely to stay engaged.
Wonderful. Well, once again, thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.